name is Rebecca, and this is my story. Valentine's Day had come again. Ugh. It was time to see all my friends posting about how lucky they were and how much they appreciated their boyfriends. It made me want to barf. And no, it wasn't because I was single and lonely or heartless. I just didn't appreciate love being shoved in my face whenever I was single. I was lonely on Valentine's Day yet again. And as much as I despise seeing forced love on my Instagram timeline, I knew I couldn't resist knowing what my friends are up to. Call it FOMO. My friend Sarah sent me a message. "Hey, what are you up to today?" she said. I replied with, "Not much, just on Insta." She replied, "Are you planning on going out tonight?" I told her, "I plan to eat chocolate, drink enough booze till I pass out." She texted me back, saying, "Why don't you come out tonight with us for girls' night?" I texted back saying I didn't have a date and I didn't want a third wheel. She replied instantly and said, "Well, that's kinda what I wanted to talk to you about." Sarah proceeded to tell me about a guy who had DM'd her asking me if I was doing anything for Valentine's Day and if Sarah could set us up. I was curious. I asked Sarah who this guy was and she said Pablo. I immediately inquired, "Wait, is this the same Pablo that we went to high school with?" She confirmed that he was. This honestly kinda made me feel uneasy. Pablo, from what I can recall, seemed a bit off back in high school. He always had on earbuds, seemed to have no friends, and would barely speak a word in class. I wouldn't say he was antisocial, just kinda weird. I told Sarah my uneasiness about Pablo, and she just said to give him a chance and I didn't have to marry him. Sarah asked if she could give my number to him. Sarah was a sweetheart. Some would say too kind. Although she had a boyfriend, she was truly messaging me to make sure my single butt was doing okay today. So although I didn't really want to go out tonight, I was kinda lonely. So I decided against my better judgment and let her give my number to him. Looking back now, I wish I had trusted my gut and stayed home. I got his Instagram handle from Sarah and scrolled through his feed. He seemed like an average person, confirmed by his pictures. A picture of him at the gym, a picture of him at the beach with his family, a picture of him at the bar. This picture of him at the bar was a bit off. He was looking straight at the camera with a deadpan look, but behind him you could slightly make out that there was a woman in a black dress who looked passed out at the bar counter. The way the picture was taken, it was as if he was purposely trying to hide the passed out woman with his body. I just figured she had one too many drinks that night and didn't think much of it afterwards. I got a text. It was from Pablo. He said, "Hey, it's Pablo, what's up?" I waited 5 minutes before replying. I didn't want to come off as desperate, even though low-key I kinda was. "Hey, not much, how about you?" I said. He replied with, "Just chilling, getting ready to go out for Valentine's Day. Do you remember who I am?" I tried to be funny. I said, "Hey, yeah, I remember you were the creepy loner kid." He didn't respond for like 10 minutes, so I messaged him again. "Hey, sorry, that was a bit mean. I was just trying to be funny." Clearly I had upset him because all I got back from him was LOL with a dot at the end of it. Quickly, I tried to change the subject. I asked him, "Do you have a date for Valentine's Day or are you going solo?" He was very sensitive, it seemed, based on what he replied. "That depends. Would you go out with a creepy loner?" Not wanting to continue to play this game, I replied with, "Ha ha ha, why not?" I told him how my friends and I were planning on going to our local bar for Valentine's Day festivities. At first he said he wasn't comfortable in group settings and he would prefer to get to know me one-on-one in a less public place. This seemed weird to me and I continued to push for him to join my friends and I. Eventually he agreed, but on the condition that we sneak off during the night to get to know each other. I carpooled with my girlfriends to the bar and their boyfriends would be arriving on their own, as would Pablo. We got in and I'm telling you, this place was packed, like you had to elbow people out of the way packed. People were dancing all over the place and generally having a good time. My friends went dancing with the crowd, and not feeling up for it, I told them I would wait for Pablo by the bar counter. I waited a while, scrolling through my phone and whatnot to pass the time. Eventually I ordered a water while I waited. As I drank it, I felt a slight tap over my right shoulder. I looked to see who it was and almost choked on my water. It was Pablo. How long had he been standing there? It looked like as if he had teleported there. It's not good to sneak up on strangers, you know. I laughed, trying to hide my shocked face. He let out a meekly low laugh and proceeded to hug me without any warning. His skin was cold. His hands were dry and scaly as they met my skin. As I forcefully hugged him back, I suddenly pushed him back and noticed his eyes were bloodshot red. We talked for a bit and I noticed he really didn't have much to say. His eyes were doing all the talking for him. He was staring me up and down like some sort of hungry animal. This made me very uncomfortable. As discreetly as possible, I texted Sarah to come find me. While I waited for her, Pablo and I sat in awkward silence. He was still staring at me, almost motionless. He finally, in a low manner, uttered out the words, "Do you want a drink?" I told him rather sternly, "No," but he said, "I insist, my treat." Just as I was about to answer him, I felt someone yanking my arm, almost dragging me out of my stool. It was Sarah. She pulled me onto the dance floor and whispered into my ear, "What's wrong?" I told her he was being creepy, staring me up and down, to which she replied, "Maybe it's his first time with a girl and he's just shy?" She was probably right and I was just overthinking this. I started dancing for a bit before my phone started buzzing. I noticed I got a text. It was from Pablo. He texted me that my drink was getting warm. I danced a bit more, but eventually not wanting to be rude, I had Sarah walk me back to the bar counter as we nudged our way through the crowd of dancers. I sat back down on the stool and it seemed Pablo was even more anxious than before. "Let's make a toast," he said. "What exactly are we toasting to?" I replied, a bit confused. He raised his glass and I noticed how much his hands were shaking. To not being single on Valentine's Day," he said, before uttering one of the worst laughs I've ever heard in my life. I reluctantly toasted him and downed the drink. "How did you even know what I drink?" I said as the booze slowly began to take over. What he said next sent shivers down my spine. He leaned in close to me. I could feel the hotness of his boozy breath as he whispered in my ear, "A predator never reveals his secrets to his prey." I tried to laugh it off, but I was truly mortified. I sat there and started making conversation with him, giving him a chance like Sarah had said. While I was talking to him, I noticed how much of a throbbing headache I was getting. I chalked it up to the loud music and the lights of the bar. After quite some time of carrying the conversation, I excused myself to go look for Sarah and the rest of my friends. I think it was time to go home. As I got up to walk, I noticed I had a real hard time walking. I thought I had broken a heel, but as I looked down, they were both intact. I stumbled forward a bit, tripped, and fell onto the floor. The last thing I saw before I blacked out was Pablo dragging me by my armpits. Some time passed before I woke up in the back of an ambulance surrounded by my friends. I groggily asked Sarah what had happened. She looked at the rest of our friends, asking them, "Do you think she's ready to hear it?" I muttered, "Yeah, I'm fine, just say it." Sarah took an exhausted deep breath before uttering something that would make my whole body shiver. She looked at me with the saddest eyes and said, "Pablo spiked your drink." She said that after I passed out, Pablo was seen trying to drag me into one of the bathrooms. Luckily, one woman near the bathroom had recognized what he was trying to do to me and basically scared him away. He was last seen running out of the bar. I tried to process all this and I couldn't even conjure up the words because of how mortified I was. I swore then and there that was the last time I ever went out with someone I wasn't 100% feeling comfortable or safe with. It was Valentine's Day. It was the first one I was spending with my girlfriend Jenny, who I had gotten together with just a month prior. I texted her that I had a surprise waiting for her after we were both done with work that day. I was planning to take her to her favorite restaurant and maybe catch a sappy movie afterwards. She didn't text back as quickly as she normally does, but I chose to ignore it and went back to working. I got a text from Maria, Jenny's coworker. I had that option on my phone enabled that hid incoming text messages, so I didn't really know what her text was about until I actually opened it. But since I was working, I couldn't open it. About an hour or so later, I got a text from Jenny that read, "Sorry babe, busy. Okay babe, see you soon, I can't wait," with one of those kissing face emojis. I read Maria's text too, and it said, "Hey babe, it's me, Jenny." I was really confused at this point. I texted Jenny asking her why Maria was texting me and calling me babe and pretending to be her. She explained that they had a fight at work and she was trying to get with me to make Jenny angry. I genuinely believed Jenny. She was my girlfriend after all, so I continued ignoring Maria's messages. I figured talking to her would just make Jenny's situation worse. Eventually the day was done and I got off work and quickly drove home to shower, groom, and get ready for a night out with Jenny. I got another text and looked to see if it was from Jenny. I had also noticed Maria was still messaging me, so without even reading what she wrote, I deleted her chat messages. She had apparently even tried to call me more than a few times. I called Jenny to ask what was up with Maria, but she didn't answer her phone. I got a text. "Sorry babe, at work, can't talk." It was from Jenny. Jenny texted me that her rental car that had broken down. Her own car was in the shop for repairs, and if I had time to check it out. What was weird was that her texts were short and to the point, almost bland. That just wasn't like her. I texted her back to ask if everything was okay, and she texted back almost immediately, "Yeah, just tired, babe." I told her to text me the address and I would be on my way to check out her car. I got ready, sprayed my expensive cologne, and drove to where she said her car broke down. There was a black Nissan Altima parked under a dimly lit streetlight. Mind you, I never asked Jenny what brand of car the rental agency had given her, so I texted her asking if her car was a black Nissan. I could see the chat bubbles across the screen before she said, "Yes, babe." I went to my trunk to get my toolbox as I approached the car. I had a feeling in my gut that something was off about this entire situation. As I slowly approached the car, I noticed through the completely tinted black windows, I could make out at least two large men in the back seat. One who was clearly holding a rope of some kind. As I turned to go back to my car, I felt a meaty hand from the driver's seat grab me from the back of my shirt and try to hold me. I could hear him say, "Get him!" as I swung my toolbox with everything I had at the hand. He screamed in pain as two men in the back seat and one in the passenger seat flung open the car door and started running after me. I booked it as hard as I could back to my own car. Thank God I had left my car door unlocked as I got into my car and quickly hit the lock door buttons, with only a second to spare too. These men were pounding on my window and trying to break my car door's handle. The three men were tall and all were wearing the same ski mask and black gloves. Finally, the driver got out of the car. He motioned for the three men to get back in the car, I presumed to chase me in their own car. It was a bulky man wearing a hat to conceal his identity. I didn't give it a second thought. I put the car into reverse and sped away in the opposite direction of where their car was parked. I went so fast that they didn't have time to catch me. I took as many turns as possible before finally pulling into the parking lot of a busy gas station. Why the hell was Maria calling me? I really had enough of this. I was going to tell her off. "What the fuck do you want, Maria?" "Babe?" I was shocked to hear Jenny's voice. I asked her why she was calling me from Maria's phone. She said she had been trying to reach me all day from Maria's phone and that I wasn't answering her. Confused, I told her I had been texting her all day. She said that was impossible. She had lost her phone earlier in the morning. My heart sank as I finally put the pieces together. I hadn't been texting Jenny. I had been texting that man all along. I explained to her what happened and she was terrified. We drove to the nearest police station to file a police report about this. The police officer gave us a lecture about phone safety and to always make sure about who we were texting. Me and Jenny agreed that we had enough adventure for one night. So we went and ordered Chinese takeout and watched a cheesy rom-com while snuggling. It goes to show you never really know who you're texting with, and it's always worthwhile to make absolutely sure.